United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looking for something.
Second.
For minutes. Thanks for that. All right, for resolutions of the day. HS1, resolution authorizing budget modifications, Department of Social Service to accept 2025-2026 full blue allocation. Do I have a motion to approve it?
Yeah, second.
Do we have any questions on this? Any information? Tiffany, who's going to speak for?
I am.
Can you go ahead and give us some background?
Sure. Yes. So Code Blue funding acceptance, this item authorizes DSS to accept the annual state allocation for the 2025-2026 Code Blue program. Under state regulation, counties must provide emergency shelter to anyone who is homeless when temperatures, including wind chill, drop below 32 degrees for at least 2 hours. Oswego County averages about 150 Code Blue nights each year. The state provides $126,893 and 100% reimbursable funding to cover motel placements, transportation, and emergency shelter services. This ensures compliance with state law and continuation of winter emergency sheltering with no local cost.
Can I ask you a question on this year, this current? Did we, in 2025, go over our application? Or did we? No, we don't.
Good question.
Any other questions?
Yes. What are the number of approximately how many shelters we have at present?
I don't believe we have many. I don't know
Which
the
means,
exact
like, what
amount.
kind of a number? Under 10, over 10, 20?
I would say under 5.
Under
Yeah,
five?
So this specific go to the warming center as well.
This is the big.
So it's not covering all the shelters. This is for the
Just
warming
one.
center for the Code Blue nights.
Oh, like outside of the Victory Transformation?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But I don't think it's so much Victory now as it is.
We just call it the warming center. It's separate from Victory.
It's separate.
But Mayor,
I know the building, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Vic, you have a question?
Yeah, but this is for people that are homeless, is this what this is for?
It's for
Or
people.
somebody lives
yeah.
in a mobile home, and doesn't have heat or oil or something?
It could be either or. It could be anybody who needs a warm place when the temperatures go below freezing.
It's their responsibility to get there, or
I would say we would hope they have a way to get there, but we have transportation available, like through Access, or they can always try to call 211.
I know that as we talked in the past, it's mostly for the homeless, and that a lot of times they refuse it. They don't even want to use it. But they try to get as many people through it as they can. And here, it's what-
well, you might say, it's not your, parts of our county, especially like people that class. There's homeless people up there.
Hell yeah.
There's no place to develop.
But I do believe they, like you said, they'll put out that Code Blue and they'll let them know. I don't know if they get called or how it happens, but they do get the information and they need a ride to get something. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
How could they get the information?
There,
Carry with
there's a number that we can call 211. That 211 number, you contract with them. When they call that number, they give you information about the patients where they can go. They also set up a room, per se, like a hotel. We have them throughout the county that will accept them. And then the bill is paid through this grant. So there are other opportunities besides just the warming center.
Any other questions? Okay, do we have a, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, HS2, resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Service transfer funds for the adoption subsidy expenses, and a motion to bring it to here. For second. Any questions on this one? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to HS3, resolution authorizing or awarding professional service contract RFP 25-MH002 vocational services. First the second. Okay, would you like to speak to this one?
I'll give that to Nicole.
Nicole? Yeah.
So this is an RFP, this is not a new service. This is a service. Our current provider for our services. So this service is for OMH funded, it's for employment support services. There's two different programming involved in this. One is assisted competitive employment, enter workforce and pursue paid employment. The other is for the secondary transition to provide support intervention to help people maintain their employment, potentially this contract funds, it has been funding years, the access contract rather than provide us with 2 FTEs direct staff to provide those two services across these two brands.
Do you know if they got a location locally that they'll be using?
They do not currently.
Okay.
That's part of their post-business efforts. They have been providing the service regionally out on the county for several years. So it's specifically for Sweeny County. So this
Go ahead.
Reading this, maybe I misunderstand. Page 3. Publicly advertised official. Newspaper, et cetera. Also sent directly found 6 vendors. Barnum wasn't on this list. Maybe or they changed their name. I don't know. Do we have any idea why we didn't get a hit from them? They've done this for a while.
they did receive it, so that's just the problem. Something that purchasing this was actually from older than that. That's the 6 agencies. So they have said that they did not put in for it because they were trying to look into their core services or treatment services, substance abuse treatment services. So they've been struggling a little bit with the recovery-oriented types of services and trying to have strong performance and solid workforce. So this was when they applied for this. That was not something Barnum had ever done previously, and so they decided that this time around that.
Has this program been, how successful has it been?
Well, it varies a little bit from individual, but in general, it's actually pretty successful. I would say about 75% of people that are able to obtain employment for some period of time. Not everybody moves to one level service, but
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to HS4, resolution authorizing budget modifications, Department of Social Services to transfer funds for foster care expenses. A second. Anyone want to speak to this one?
I will.
All right, go ahead.
So this adjustment reallocates funding to meet state mandated foster care rate increases that took effect July 1st. OCFS raised the reimbursement rates paid to foster parents and agencies, which created a shortfall in the current year's foster care budget. The department is transferring funds from preventive services lines to cover the difference. Most foster care costs are eligible for federal reimbursement, making this fiscally responsible and cost neutral.
Okay, any questions?
Under foster care, are the number of children that are under foster care, since program, is it increasing in numbers by chance?
No, I would say that's a increase.
Yeah, there's a slight increase in the number of kids.
So the basic cost, the reason it changes because that 3.2% increase in the state or February.
Well, the 3.2% is for our local, is for foster boarding homes and for the pass-through amount because the agencies, the residentials, the state has also been increasing their rates. But it is very probable that it's more than 3.2% for the big residential facilities that we use for our foster care. It would be due to rate hikes.
You folks deal with it, so I don't. Is there are you getting any feedback or are you getting any whisperings in the wind about increased age? Because I know it's an issue, these kids, especially today, because they're so immature, it's unbelievable anyway. Karen went in Jack to school, but that's a different story. They're aging out. And now the kid's on his own.
They can choose to remain in care until they're
I
20.
can talk a little louder.
They can choose to remain in foster care till they're 21. They don't have to leave at 18. Kids that typically leave at 18 are choosing to exit, choosing to leave. They can also leave and then request to come back. So if they exit foster care and they're like, yeah, this isn't working out for me, I need some support and services, they can request from the local department to return into foster care. It's pretty rare in this county. It doesn't happen very often because once they reach that age, they don't want to have to fall under the rules and the mandates and all of the stuff, but they can choose to do that if they need to.
Now, when they make that choice, a girl or boy or whatever comes up to you and says, I want to choose to be on my own and leave. Do we make sure we give them the counseling that, oh, by the way?
Oh, yeah. We're mandated to provide services, make sure they have all of their records, talk to them about the consequences, let them know what resources are available. Most of them, when they get to that point, they just want to be able to make their own decisions. As most teens, once they get to 18, 19, they want some independence, they want to be out of the system, and they want to make decisions on their own. So yes, we have those conversations. We're required to.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. HS 5. HS 5 is the resolution authorizing budget modification. Yes, the budget modifications, Department of Social Service to transfer funds for the safety net expenses. The motion to open up to the floor. So moved. First and second. Any questions for this? Or any, read this description first, I believe.
You'd like me to go ahead and read it?
Yeah,
Okay.
do that.
Okay, so this is a long one.
Yeah.
So Safety Net is a state-mandated assistance program that provides temporary support to adults and families who do not qualify for family assistance or other federal aid. This includes individuals without dependent children, those ineligible for federal programs, and people who have exhausted other benefits. Safety net covers emergency shelter, basic needs, and temporary income support. Program costs have increased steadily since 2021, driven by higher housing expenses and greater demand for assistance. This budget modification transfers funds from unspent salary and contracted services lines to cover these expenses through year end. Although the local share is higher due to limited state reimbursement, the program is legally required and ensures that eligible residents are not left without basic assistance.
Any questions?
Yeah, use the word temporary, what's that mean exactly? Well, 2 months, 6 years?
It's, what did you say, Tiffany? About,
Family
it's like a
assistance.
one-time thing,
No,
or
safety
safety net.
Safety net, right, it's forever.
But it's forever, really. I mean, we
It's
can't take
anytime.
them off after 6 months. As long as they're-
You say they need the 6 months, or I mean,
No, we can't stop their benefits at 6 months.
so it's not,
Eligible.
it's not temporary.
It's not temporary.
So somebody can go on this from, to grade.
They can. Ideally, they would be able to access the other services and programs, but this is like the last resort.
They could get a job.
That's the key, they gotta believe it. A lot of the folks that end up into this is because they lost their job. And keep their funding a little bit going until they can get more.
Sometimes we see a lot of folks that, they're in the process of applying for Social Security disability, which is a long process. So it's that interim period where they're, waiting to be eligible for that. And that creates, when you get to your employable populations, typically those are your populations that have exemptions. So they're not able to go right to work right away. They may be out medically. They're applying for the Social Security disability. That's a pocket that we also deal with.
And Social Security will pay us back for that.
The Social Security disability, that falls under,
That was just an example, by the way,
oh,
of a particular population.
right. You get hurt at work,
Yeah.
you're gonna get paid
We're saying
until,
like long term.
Any questions?
Yes, I think, Bill, looking at these numbers, increase in local share of, and then a transfer of $1 million spent paid. It just seems like a lot of these things. Is our path good? Are the lines gonna come together someday and all of a sudden we don't have it?
They will if we don't have vacancies. It's the unspent salaries.
On stage.
Right. Which is why we always try to keep budget for overtime low, because transfer overtime's often creating vacancies. Try to save vacancy rate. Throughout most of the year, I've been enforcing a rule that not to use vacancy money for contractual items, only things related to personnel. But as we get towards the end of the year, in this case, it's for ways to go other than fund balance. That's what vacancy money ends up in.
Right, and understood that we have to do this, and we're okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? HS7.
It's on order.
Oh, there is no 6.
I bet. HS6, resolution authorizing budget modifications, Department of Social Services to transfer funds for supplies. I think this whole,
Second.
the background on this. Budget modification is to move funds from supply line to unspent wages. Non-service supply line used to purchase paper and other operational supplies, to meetings, Department message supplies, pay the mandated serious sewer contract, and pay for non-reoccurring adoption legal expenses. Shortage for this budget line for the end of 2025, but we're asking to increase the budget line by 50,000 and decrease another budget line by 50,000. Budget line 50, decrease A6010.511000 budget line by 50,000. Be budget neutral. Anything else to add to that?
No.
Anybody have any questions? Favor? Aye. Opposed? Now, back to HS7. HS7, resolution authorizing budget modification 2025-2026 unmet need grant additional allocation, office for the agent. Sarah, do you want to speak to this? No, on the floor first, or motion to first and second? All right, Sarah, go ahead.
This was the $50 million that Governor Hochul put in her budget for unmet needs for aging services. This is our portion that we ended up receiving $458,155 for the grant year through March 31st. We will not be able to spend all that money by March 31st, but we'll be rolling it forward to the accounts for 2026. But some of the areas where we have unmet needs, last year with the snow, we're going to be able to use some of these funds that we have to do a one-time plowing on some of the drivers. Home care, small home repairs, putting something towards some of the yields program as well. Add social health transportation as part of trying to get it. Actually get transportation to get
Well, Sarah, with the plowing side, did we use a lot of that last year too? Did we have to-
I didn't have money to do that last year, so this is something that is due, as well as install repairs. Has been an issue where drivers, home delivered meal drivers, can kind of struggle to get in the door or up the stairs because they have stairs, but there's no railing, or they're missing some treads on the stairs. So to be able to do small repairs would be advantageous to not only our drivers but to people as well. And we also have ramps, so we'll be able to purchase some more ramps, or to have that funding so that if a ramp has to be moved, have the funds to pay for the ramp location.
Any other questions for Sarah?
This would be for the person that can live and also own the property, correct?
It can, but it could also be for someone who doesn't own the property. So say for a ramp, if they don't own the property, but they need a ramp, as long as the landlord agrees to it, they have a ramp installed there. With the understanding that it's not their ramp, it is ultimately property of the county, and we can get that ramp back.
Can't tell you how many ramps I threw away when I used to buy and sell out.
Arise still has that problem because people don't notify them. So we have a cyclical call, and we're calling people and saying, "Are you still need the ramp? Are you still utilizing it? If you don't need it anymore, we'll come and have it removed." So it doesn't mean that one doesn't get scrapped, but it's with the understanding that it's not their property, it is the county property. It's just a home over, so that they are able to access getting at the home.
Worthwhile putting an attachment on the deed so they don't. Because you don't know. I never no idea when.
We With Arise, we did get stickers. I'm gonna, if we don't put any more ramps with Arise, all of those pieces have been stickered. I'm gonna get the roll of stickers that we had so that we can, the new ramps that we do have, the new ramp pieces are identified as OFA from the OFA.
With I have a lot of people in my district, and we've got them all over the county, let's be honest, that are sitting on property. And I totally agree, it's cheaper to keep them on in their property than it is taking, where the hell we gonna put them? I get that. Used to be, now I don't know if it still is anymore or not. Paul used to do this, and I used to do one of these. That there would be sometimes quite a hefty lien on the property from social services. Is that still in effect, or, I mean, if we go out and do, say you have to rebuild a set of stairs and things like that, that's gonna be $1,000. You're not gonna get somebody.
Right, and because this is unmet need and there's no county match, for me personally, if we have to spend $1,000 on a set of stairs so someone can get in and out, so you go to their doctor appointments or they get else, then that's money that's well spent. That's not something that we're looking to get the stairs back from them. Aluminum ramp, because that is very transferable and mobile and movable, so that would be something that definitely follow us to try to get back. But some of those others, if it's a small repair for the stairs, or if they need a threshold change so that there's no longer a step and they can roll up or step into the house, those are all, to me, very worthwhile, and, not expecting anything in return for that. We always do follow up and say, you have the opportunity to contribute to the cost of this. This is what the item costs. But the state and federal government can't require them to pay for it. So for those types of repairs, those I just mean, and this is something that we're able to do for an extended period of time. But again, the ramp, because ramps are movable, portable, can be used at someone else's home very easily. Those I look at as a durable good that can come back.
Well, most of them are
Right. Yeah, they're most of them action. No, Sarah, are you set there? How's it is? Are you done? Okay. Sarah, were you able, last time we had a discussion on the ramp and things, you were looking for someone who could help you with being able to take the ramps back. Or,
Right.
Were you able to secure someone?
Our most recent ramp purchases, they stated that they would with us.
But also probably taking them back.
They'll transport them. They'll pick them up from county property, transport them to where they need to go. They'll go into the assessment of the property because we don't have anybody on staff that can say, yes, these are no concessions of brand new.
Right.
So that it's the correct.
Picture.
Yes. So they'll do the assessment and then they'll come and pick up the pieces of that to have that room that they'll back to storage or bring them to the next location.
Anyone else with any other questions for Sarah? In favor? Aye. Opposed? All of our resolutions for the day. Moving on, now we're going to go with committee reviews and reports. Start with the youth bureau.
Agreed. Just a couple things I know you like to track and target. Both Camp Hollis and Legends Fields have reached their estimated revenue lines for 2025, so we have reached and passed those, which are good since my friend Veronica challenged us to help them this past year. So Zach is breathing a little bit easier as we go through that. Zerby, we're getting there. We still have a few more rentals and things that are happening at Zerby still that we go for. Right now, we're in the process of planning winter camp at Camp Hollis and also working with City of Oswego to do some activities over Christmas break because there's 2 weeks off this year yet. So looking at doing that. Camp Hollis had 33 groups that used it for the season. About 1,986 visitors were part of those rentals at Camp Hollis. We gave out a total of 1,986 scholarships for campers this past year at camp, and that's working with Friends of Camp Hollis, et cetera, to make up the cost for those that in need to attend camp. We served 9,427 meals at camp this summer, so that was good, and we totaled 678 campers that were going through there. Our AmeriCorps program is kicked off on November 1st. It's next year that we go through it. We're looking to partner with sites and working with different agencies that go along with that. This past year, we had 11 sites and 30 members, and that was going off of this. You know, there was a pause and such that went in there, but it was a successful year. Currently, they're at Legends Fields working on the expansion of Field 5. They're up there today. Looking to move the fence back and doing some drainage fixing, etc. There's the light poles are what they're moving today, so they're going forward on that. The adult softball league that came back in this year, they have 1 day left. On Sunday is when they're going to make up all their rainouts and do their playoffs. We had 10 teams that played up there 2 nights a week, so that ended up going well. We are working with SUNY Oswego on a couple of different things. We have 11 events that we partner with them to do youth nights on. We used to have 3. We're up to 11. Everything from men's and women's soccer, volleyball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, and softball. We're also working with them on another program which is new through the Empire State Service Corps. We have 3 students from SUNY who will be working in my office through March, and they will assist with activities and planning events, etc. So they're super excited to be doing that. Camp Zerby, we're wrapping up. Like I said, we have a few rentals up there still, winterizing a lot of things up there, and looking to get our basketball hoops put in the ground still. Waiting on EG to do that. Our trunk or treat happened on the 25th. We have 61 vendors. And 900 kids roughly estimate come to the door for that. Our Leadership of Sonoma County Youth Program met on October 22nd at City. 12 students attended, working on nonverbal communication, public speaking, and teamwork activities. And they're working on their community service project. Traveling Arts in the Park was at the Fulton Fall Festival. So they were there doing activities with kids. Also on Family Fun Night, on October 22nd, we did a Halloween Arts and Crafts Catholic Charities, and our YLA, our Youth Leaders in Action, met on October 17th at City, and New York State Youth Council is meeting twice a month currently, focusing on policy changes. Interestingly enough, they are working on AI and how to teach kids how to use it correctly, because that is obviously important. AI can be used in numerous ways. Can be your best friend or can be your worst enemy. So that's one of the things they're working with in that Governor's Youth Council. That's through New York State, so it's not just Oswego County. It's I chair that group. I have 14 counties that have kids from, and they work to develop a policy and then present it to the governor's office. Where it goes from there, it's hard to say. I've done it now for 5 years, and all 5 years I've got like the finals, I call it, pushing it to get to the governor's door on different things that impact young people. They seem to be ahead of the curve. 2 years ago is when they talk about cell phones in schools. You can see that's one thing that became a big topic. And I usually try to work out with involving whoever I can when I can within the community to do so. So depending if any of you are an expert on AI, I may reach out to you to see help out, but other than that, kind of a brief snapshot of where we are today.
That's a good program to get them into, and I'd love to see one come out for adults. I think that would be
Yeah.
interesting to try. I mean, I had it on my phone a little bit, used it. It's kind of interesting, but then it went away.
Yeah.
Not sure why.
Well, in our student that represents Sawyer County, I'm actually going to try to get her in here someday. She's kind of, it's interesting, she's part of the, she's from Central Square High School and is really involved in a lot of different activities, some leadership of Sawyer County Youth, and involved with different things as we go along the way. But she has really been powerful, and she's also DPEC. So seeing where that goes, she's been in DPEC since she was in 8th grade, and now I believe she's a sophomore in high school. So it seems to be going well. We're staying busy with what we have. We are stretched right now with forward to the fall, but we're going to.
Another quick question. The ball field, we're going to be on schedule to finish it?
We're hopeful. It's all going to be weather dependent.
Right.
So today, like I said, they're taking the light poles down, and then the fence will come down. And like they said, if they have good weather, yes, that'll all be dependent on the weather.
They should be able.
We're hopeful.
Until we
You
get
know,
it snowing.
I'll just threaten the bad winter. It's like to hold off. I think a month. But I think it's good.
Okay. Good. Go ahead, Ben.
Ryan, you said, maybe I misunderstood that you were ferrying or winterizing
Can't be.
Camp Service.
Yeah.
And I know it's a different county, I get that, but they have a lot more money. But Onondaga County takes, and it's Highland Forest on the southern part of the county. And they have a lot of winter activities there. They have winter camping, they have sleigh riding, they do a lot of things. Camp is extremely active during the winter time.
Yep.
Are you exploring possibly utilizing that facility? Because again, you know, once you get much above my driveway, you're not going to drive to a sweetheart.
No. So to clarify, when I say winterizing, the main lodge has to be closed.
No, I understand.
So that's what we go with. So closing the main lodge, taking the dock out of the water. But yes, we still use the trails. Last year we started to build a snow out because we got all that snow. All the focus came to getting it off, some things for that matter. But there are different programs that are used out there, and we plan different programs as well. Like I said, one of the goals to build that snow maze this year, which would be exactly think of a big snow maze to go through. We have people come in and use it for cross-country skiing, things to that matter. But what winterizing would be closing down parts of the cabin that we can't break out. The main lodge in the historic building, and as much as I'd love to be able to use it longer within the season, we can't insulate it, we can't do anything because it's on the preserved list for historic buildings. So you have to, can't do those. But that's it. I wanted to put in new windows and put in insulation.
Or you got to push for a new building.
Got a new bathroom. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Herb's got an office in front there.
You fixed the roof on the lodge.
Rick tells me it will be done. They have it all ready to roll, but I don't
So
think
you
it's
had to
done.
fix.
But that's between insurance and getting that check. Rick's working on that. He's assured me it will be done. Before winter, he said. That's the answer I get. I got to follow up with him today and they've asked about work stuff. Got a couple staff that can help put them up, but yeah, stuff.
Okay. Back to veteran services.
So last meeting, I talked about our office working to do more for the veterans community. The way we're going to do that is Joseph P. Wire. On the handout that I just passed around, the first and second page basically tells you about Joseph P. Wire
He was PFC, served in Iraq, came home and didn't integrate well, ended up passing away at 31. So they created this program, and it's a peer support program. And the thing I want to really point out is on the third page, the program overview. It talks about the core services, and these are the things that the program committee wants. Every county has this program. We used to contract with an outside agency. And that outside agency was supposed to provide this for us. I didn't feel that they were doing enough. So when I was approached and asked if I would take this, I was absolutely happy. It's going to bring, I think, more back to our county. On the last 2 pages, those core services, peer support group, one-on-one peer mentorship, crisis intervention fund support. These are all the ways that I think that us as a community and my office are able to meet those requirements. The goal, ideally, would be the Dwyer program is a peer-to-peer. It's not meant for us to bring in counselors. It's not meant for us to bring in professionals. It's meant for us to bring in other veterans that can peer mentor each other so that they can discuss what they've been through, how they made it through it, how they got through it. It's a huge focus on suicide prevention. So the peer mentor is there to kind of guide them to the service setting. Kind of guide, because if you throw a veteran in a room counselor, you may shut down right away. But if you put him with another veteran and they get to talking and they create rapport, then that veteran can convince him, hey, you should go see this specialist. So that's what one of the goals of this program is going to be, is to get these people in, help them deal with, adjust to not being in the military, and then get them the services, everything from mental health to housing assistance if you need to. All the things that we try to do now, we don't have. The goal for this program, too, is I want to create Joseph P. Dwyer Vet Center. In the Vet Center, we're going to have a recreational area. This is my dream, but where we have tables, TVs, games. The VA has this online gaming program where all of these younger veterans all over the world get on and play games against each other. And when they're playing, they talk. And they talk about things that they've gone through and the experiences that they've had. That same area would be used for all the meetings, specifically informational events, bringing in people that can talk about the benefits that we don't cover, specifically like health benefits. There's a lot of the health side that we don't really understand ourselves. I mean, we try to learn as much as we can, and then we can provide these informational events about the benefits side that we do handle. And then I'd like to bring in nutritionists and even bring in a counselor, but as a group setting, not a one-on-one type deal. I would also want a business center. The business center would be mainly a couple of computers with printer and scanner. VA.gov, VA is going towards that. Everything is going towards VA.gov. When you try to go online now, do anything, it tells you got to go to VA.gov. The information that you might need is on VA.gov. A lot of veterans don't have that. They don't have access to it. They don't have computers. This way we can get them in, we can sit them down in the computer, we can get them logged in VA.gov. They can make medical appointments, talk to their care team, they can print their VA letters, they can file a claim if they want, they can track the claim that we filed for them. So that's going to give them the ability to do that. And it's also going to provide them an ability to do resumes, to job search, do the things that's going to keep them busy. There's also a plan for a wellness area where there's going to be some fitness stuff. We're going to bring in instructors. Big thing that the VA is doing now is Tai Chi stuff. So we're going to try to bring people in for that. And this is all to make them mentally stronger, to make them more better to deal with what they're going through, their PTSD and their TBIs. And it's not just for the veterans, it's going to be for the families. The plan too would be to hold different events, whether it be like a luncheon, we just have a luncheon, hiking events, marching events, fishing events. You know, that's what is going to bring these people together. I think this program too is what's really going to bring that younger generation in. We are starting to see more and more young guys come in. But when I say young guys, I mean late 20s or 30s. Those 40-year guys that get out at 21, 22, we're still not seeing them yet. So I think this is going to draw a lot of these people. Right now, I'm working on trying to figure out the location on where we can do this. I'm hoping to move into where the Board of Elections was at, that building there. There's an area that I've already mapped it out. I know exactly how much space is there, what I can put in that space, how many things, how many chairs. I did all that. I just don't know that I'm able to move in there. That's still trying to figure that one out.
Coordinating that with Phil, or what did you do?
I've talked to Phil, I talked to Tim Stalls. Heather Snow, she was the one that really got me turned out to her, because they're moving in that way. So she came up and asked me about it. I told her, "You're ready to take this on." She was, "Where should I check the building out?" So I went over there. The ultimate goal would be, though, not to shut down the Fulton office. I want to keep the Fulton office, and basically it's going to become a mini version of what we have. You'll have a small little rec center area with tables, chairs, and TVs. You have movie nights, Super Bowl Sundays, that sort of thing, where we provide the food, we provide the drinks. You'll have its own little business center. The only thing we really don't have room for there is the fitness portion, but limiting that. In the Fulton office, we will have a VSO. He will work in that office. In the Fulton office, we'll have myself and the other VSO. The plan in the first year is to hire a peer mentor, somebody that can help with the program getting it started, help with getting things set up, help with getting things, and then they're going to start planning events for next year. So that when the next year rolls around, 2027, I want to hire another person to assist them, and that's their only goal. Their only job is going to be to run this program, to set these events up, to take care of this, while we can still focus on the benefits side. So it doesn't take away from our time with the veterans, help with the benefits and things like that. We'll run the classes and things, but when it comes to a lot of the events and things, I think it's just better to have somebody else dedicated that's just taking care of that. So that's it in a short little spiel there. There's a lot still to be figured out, but I just really wanted you to understand the reason behind the VAR program and the reason why focusing on the mental health portion of it, with entertainment, camaraderie, bringing people together, making them mentally strong, making them physically strong, and all that stuff. It's going to support them mentally to try to cut down on this veteran suicide issue.
Okay, well, moving forward, do us a favor. Be sure to update us with your progress and what you're doing with Phil, or if you need our help or input.
So if I can help them, like if between, like I said, whether it's Derby or Alice, we have access to the lake, and have challenge course, we have rock climbing walls, we have climbing towers, zip lines, but let me know if there's any way that we can help with the weather use, like that stuff. We have all those things that we can obviously fit into scheduling at one point in time. So we also have buildings to meet at, so if there's any kind of meetings, service, tackable buildings open year-round, the house open year-round, so we can simply accommodate different groups to come in. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to work with Heather to provide for transportation. So the issue with the last organization was they're based out of Chittenden. They have things that they have at their facility there, but they're from Oswego County. They're not going to Chittenden. They're not getting out, especially the ones that can't drive. So they attempted a few things here over the 3 years that they were doing it.
but nothing really took off, nothing permanent. Most of the time we didn't even know what was going on because they weren't communicating with us. So that is definitely a plan, is to use what we have in the area and provide the transportation for the veterans. Everybody needed a price chopper, and we'll throw you on a bus and we'll go out to Camp Serve.
Dick? First of all, I admire your excitement, your compassion for this. It's good. To take care of our veterans, and I firmly believe that. I had to live through that with a grandson that decided to go in the service and get his education instead of found out what drinking parties were like. Ended up with 2 tours in Afghanistan. He come back all fried up. And he's just getting his life straightened out. So I want to see that from you. Veterans. I can't say I can put a number on it, but I can see what I see. Especially when I drive through these hamlets, these villages, and you see all the banners out. This guy served this time, and this lady served this time, on and on and on, which I think is fabulous. The thing is, I have a tendency to look at them instead of the track, but that's neither here nor there. Our far reaches of the county, that's where I have a big concern, because it's remote, and a lot of young men and women, especially the last, say, 20 years, 25 years, the only way to get out is to get in service. Because if their family's in agriculture, they need Major Jack. Trust me, I could write you a book on it because I'm still in it. And I'm going to go for reaching out. And also, are we reaching out to our fellow partners next door? Because Oneida County and Bill and those areas are remote as hell. And we could work with those other counties and serve some of those people.
And we do.
And hopefully we do.
We do. We talk with all the different, there's county representatives and state representatives that we talk to. They call us, they send people our way. Our office, we don't just deal with Oswego County people. I'm a VSO for people in Florida, Wisconsin, California. They somehow get my name and our office number and they call. I don't care where you live. Or we're going to take care of you. We're going to do the best that we can for you. And a lot of the people that are in North Syracuse, Liverpool, Cicero area prefer to come to our office. They go to, say, Onondaga, and they tell us things all the time like, well, you guys call us back. You guys answer the phone. You guys. And that's something that I kind of wanted to put into that office when I came in. Had a very negative attitude about it. People, the veterans, just I talk to people in the beginning of, I'll never go there because of this, I'll never go there because of that. Well, give me a chance. Give me a chance. And so, and that word has spread. So we're definitely willing to reach out to whomever. The outreaches of the county has been an issue from the beginning, especially like the Constantia APW area out there, because there's nothing out, there's no county offices out there. I may well have an office up in Pulaski, so I can get the Redfield and that people, but I don't have anything out that way. So again, this is where I think we've got the free bus passes now, where the veterans can come, bring their D-214, we fill out a form, they take it to Centro. Centro gives them a bus pass, and they can have it until the day they die. And they can ride the buses for free to try to get places.
Well, Camp Zerby, that building in the front, that's climate control, correct? That's a good size. I mean, there's a lot of square footage. Maybe that's something we have to look at. Like, I believe in serving the right people. Okay, I'm sorry I sound negative on some of these other ones, but I know what it's like to be poor, because I was poor. When I first got married, 18, that was hell. But social service, that's neither here nor there. We have the opportunity to utilize that building partially for maybe some of your activities that you want to reach out. So I want you to reach out. I don't care where the veterans from. I really don't give a rat's ass. service the person.
Yeah, that's our attitude. I'll cover that up.
That's something we gotta look at. We can do a lot of different things. You know, we gotta look outside of that square table. There's a lot of things we can do, and sometimes we just don't look at it.
You know, keep in mind, as you start putting this together, it's gonna take more than one person. So if you need to pull in a legislator or help from other people within the county here, let us know. We'll put together a little committee that can meet once a month or whatever to start moving it, see what you can really get some traction. Because it's a tough thing to put together on.
And it is, it's gonna be busy, it's gonna be a lot of work. That's why I wanna bring that first person, that peer mentor into the meeting. But I will say, since I took the position, one of the things I'm not concerned about is getting help. Because anytime I've reached out to anybody, be it another director, be it a legislator, they've always been able to assist me. And they never tell me no. They tell me, we can do this, we can do that, help. And that's been great. So there is going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of reaching out. There's going to be a lot of talking to different people. Because this is a new process for me. I don't know how this process happened. So I got to figure it out as we go along. But definitely.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So, you bring up a good point, and as kind of a segue, the other hat that I wear is assessor for the city of Oswego, and last month I attended the school board meeting and actually asked the district to honor veterans exemptions, because currently the county and all towns and villages in Oswego County offer a veterans exemption on property taxes, but none of the school districts do. So I think that that's a good place to look for, within the city of Oswego and all the other legislative districts, the school districts that serve you. It would not be a bad idea to go to those schools and say, hey, why are we not honoring our veterans with a school property tax exemption when all the towns and villages in the county are already doing it? We estimate it would save veterans in the city of Oswego alone about $200,000 a year. That would be shared across all of the ratepayers. Very, very minor impact to the tax rate. At the lowest level, maybe 7 cents per thousand. That would be shared by everyone else. So that was the first thing. So the city school district in Oswego has taken it on. It was covered by some media, which I think kind of pushed it a little bit. So now they're actually looking at the numbers. They've taken some data, and it's going to be, looked at in the next couple months. So hopefully we see some positive movement there. Second part is there was a recent law that was passed, and I don't know if it's on your radar, that would grant a 100% property tax exemption for someone who's 100% permanently disabled. But in order for that to apply, the various municipalities, county, towns, villages would have to adopt it. So that is begins in January, but it would require a resolution opting in. So I didn't know if that was on your radar, if that's something you're going to push for the legislature to move on, or if we can bring it back to our towns and villages, cities to get that moving. So I think
That's the first I heard that.
yeah, I can send you the information. And so the only reason I'm aware of it is because we sent a newsletter out to all of our owner-occupied homes, and in the newsletter we spelled out some of the common exemptions, and the predominant response was from veterans. One, who didn't know they could get a property tax exemption. And then two, they wanted to know why the school doesn't honor the exemption. So you've got your county, your city, all your towns and villages honoring it, but the schools are not. So, I thought, hey, why not go to the school board, ask them the question? I don't see a legitimate reason why. I think that they deserve that benefit. But during those conversations, people brought up this legislation that had been passed, and I also was not aware. We didn't get a notice on it. There was no bulletin, nothing. But it takes effect in January and would offer a full exemption if you're 100% permanently disabled. So I think we should look at doing that for the county, and then municipalities will follow, I believe. So I think there's a lot of benefit there, a lot of tangible dollars that veterans could really use.
Okay, anything else? Go ahead, Kurt.
I just want to thank you for coming out to Williamstown and meet with the Revolutionary Veterans they honored up there. Sweet place to see that. I was able to go because they made it around the family that night saying, thank you for coming out. Thank you for working you're doing for the veterans. It's most veterans, they don't know any of these programs. I can guarantee you. When I left the military, I never heard from them again. Or they don't say nothing, they don't tell you nothing. They kick me loose at Fort Lewis, Washington, say goodbye, don't see us again. Help the veterans, and 100%, and I think Kansas City would be a great place. It's outdoors. A lot of veterans don't like to be in the city, don't like people.
That's true.
I want to be out in the open and watching woods and hear the squirrels talk to the city.
And that's the plan. I mean, it's supposed to be enjoyable. So you get them together, you get them talking, and, especially in places in scenarios like that or situations like that where they feel free, they don't feel like they have to be back. That's when you're really going to get out of what they need and figure out how we can support them. It's definitely.
Did you ever thought about contacting the T2T, Twin Towers Association for the Veterans? They're building these veterans homes all over the country. And big, huge complexes they're building. Maybe you should talk to them. They might want to help you build something here.
As a matter of fact, I did go to the lead where they were talking about the buildings that they build. There's the first floor is like recreation, laundry, then the apartments are upstairs, and it's for veterans only.
Yeah.
So the only people living there are other veterans. So I have heard about
All right, very good. Office of the Aging, Sarah?
Okay, so we're in the middle of, not quite the middle of Medicare open enrollment. It was from October 15th to December 7th. We received over 400 calls requesting assistance. We've been triaging the calls. With the two high cap insurance counselors I have, we're not going to be able to address everyone's concern. We are triaging them, like I stated, to see which ones need the most immediate attention. And anybody who's in an Advantage plan, they have between January 1 and March 31, they changed that, so they can wait if they have nothing that's going on in January, hospital stay, or they need a change, or having it delayed, so that we can address the people who need the most immediate attention first. And we're now at the point where we're asking if they would be okay with us removing their names or sharing their information. State Office for the Aging. State Office for the Aging this year trained all of their workers in the high cap program to be able to insurance counselors, but they also contract with 5 different agencies to assist with the statewide senior action council, the Medicare Rights Center, and their justice center, so they can find additional tools, additional people they can assist supply. If they don't want to be promoted, then we will still address them from our office because some still want a face-to-face appointment. We'll address them as best we can. But as it is every year, we will not be able to try our best to address them as they come in the time of year. But there is a little bit of a backlog. Any questions on Medicare? November is National Caregiver Month. We are celebrating our caregivers with a luncheon this Thursday. It'll be a 3rd year that we do it. And the caregivers that were invited are people who are participating in our programs, like our support groups, our respite program. So they get an invitation to go and we have a luncheon. The Alzheimer's Association come in to talk and give a little presentation to them. They'll be getting a bag of items too to help them as a caregiver, including medication disposal boxes, alarms for the door, so if the person they're caring for is trying to exit the home, the alarm will go off. So a number of items that they'll be given as a caregiver toolbox for what they need program. Our Santa for Seniors officially opened October 1st. We're taking nominations. We've received over 110 nominations so far for seniors. We're taking or accepting nominations until November 13th, but we're also, with 110 so far, we're looking for adopters, so we still need people to adopt our seniors. So put that out there. Chat benches, they're nearing completion, so we're working with City BOCES to build them, and Nicole and Mental Hygiene, they're supporting us fiscally with that project. 3 of them will be ready to go the week of November 17th, and then the final 3 will be December 13th. I don't have dates or locations where we're meeting them first, but if anyone is interested, I'll need to get them set up to come out and participate in that. Just let me know and I can get you dates and locations of where we'll be when. If you're not familiar with the chat bench, it is a bench that's set up and a signage on it saying welcome or prepared to chat. So it's labeled to let people know that if you sit here at this bench, this is a social bench. So expect a conversation. On the sign, there is a QR code for people who are QR code savvy, bringing them to our webpage with more information on what a chat bench is, and also giving them information like, don't share personal information when you sit here on the chat bench. We want them to be safe. They're all going to be in public areas, very open, so that it will eliminate, hopefully, any chances of any of our people being taken advantage of. Our meals program, we have seen an increase in the requests for home delivered meals the last couple of months, comparing 24 to 25 in September. We had, of last year, we had 558 clients during the month. This year we have 582. Last October we had 558 still. This October we had 576. So we did have some people drop off from September to October, but the numbers certainly are much higher than last year. Intake, so people calling, asking for the meals. 2020, September 24, we had 18 new people requesting. This September we had 47. October of last year we had 29 people. October this year we had 44 people. So there's an increased demand for the program. So it has increased the work for the assessments as well. Our request for proposals for our nutrition program was reissued. We're just waiting to get responses back. Once they're back, they will be reviewed and all the information that we need. So make a good decision. One last thing on our new space. We have had a couple of programs, workshops, programs. Right now we have Stepping On going on. We have the WISE program. Some of the comments and feedback from participants as well. There's no signage. They're working on that, but it's really hard for them to find where we are. When they do get to a door, the door is locked because there's no security personnel, so it makes it very hard for people to have access to our space. And the bathrooms, the doors are really heavy for an elderly person that has balance issues, attention. We've asked for it to be reduced, and it has been reduced, but the tension on the door is very, very hard. A lot of tension, so it's hard to open the door. Sinks themselves, while they're handicap accessible, faucets are too close to the back of the sink, so when you go to wash your hands, you have to wash your hands like this. for an elderly person that has, dexterity issues, or the faucets have the paddle handles, which is nice, but hard to utilize what we have there. So to have a lot of money spent on the new space that we have and have it not be truly accessible for people that it's made to access that is an ongoing issue for us. So we have not, even though we've been in the space since March, I do not feel it's truly useful, and it's hard to do programming for any seniors or elderly space and it's right now. So I'm imploring it if you have any, again, I know I've come to you before to get a security guard person out at that door so that we can have our locked. That would give us, or we get over a big barrier that we have, because right now with open enrollment, they have to go to the main door, health department door, and it's a long hallway down to get to our office.
Also, don't they have to have someone accompany them? They can't
Yeah,
just,
but we go down, right, the security personnel guard calls us and we have the staff to go down there. Because it is kind of, I mean, it's a hallway, and if you've worked there a long time, it's kind of straightforward, but if you're not familiar with the building, it's very easy to get lost. But, you know, go down to Brian's office at Youth Bureau or to the Health Department Education. So it is, we do escort them down. And we do have a big poster on the other door if they do get there, to call our office, but not all elderly have a cell phone on them to call, so we don't let them in that door. Our old entrance door is just an exit door now, and the way we have it set up, we don't have a reception person at that door, so it's not really something where we could open that door and say, well, come in that door. And again, the building's not labeled, so what door do I go in? So it's just there, and now the roof is being worked on. So there's a lot of construction vehicles there, so which is making it even more of a concern for me, for elderly people to come, getting in and out of their car when there's construction vehicles. So just putting out there in the universe that there are some, well, I love the space, and it will be a truly great space. It just is not utilized to its potential right now.
can you put a punch list together for us and send that out so we have it, so we can start planning on what we've got to do here?
Has that been sent to buildings and grounds as well?
I've sent several, and some of it is out of their hands because it is contractors, but I did end up purchasing our own faucets, but there's been no staff to be able to install them. So, well, the sinks are, because they're accessible, they're blocked off, so, you know, I don't know, I don't think it's that hard as well, but it has not. We got your paper towel dispensers as well, because it's hard to pull the paper towels out of there, so I have one. So I bought ones that you pull the lever on. The toilet paper dispensers are too tight, it's locked. You get 3 sheets and then it locks. So our toilet paper is not on the roll, it's hanging out on the side, you know, it's just,
Not operator friendly.
there's a number of things that we get.
Put that punch list together so we can follow up to see what we need to follow up.
And the last thing, we are looking to get some sound canceling panels to be able to hear to, because it's the cathedral ceilings there was supposed to be a second story, and I understand that couldn't happen because of constraints, but the hallway doesn't have carpet, it's 2 stories tall, it's what our reception area is wide open, you know, anybody having any conversation, we can hear everything that's going on, so we can get some acoustic panels, so to deaden some of that noise.
Put that together. Bird dog, million.
I'm sure it's just about there.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we take a minute, 'cause I spoke to her on the phone, my God, just a Reader's Digest version of qualifications for the meals, so that's been in discussion.
Yeah, so to qualify for home delivered meals, there's no financial qualification eligibility for it. So anybody who, it doesn't matter what their income is, if the eligibility, they can't go out and purchase of their own to bring back home. They are incapable of creating their own meals or standing in front of the stove to prepare and make their own meals. They don't have family supports to be able to help them assist them with that. They may have a chronic condition that precludes them from being able to do any of that. But they may not be able to any longer utilize stovetop to do any of that. So I'm not saying it as eloquently as it is in the booklet that we have for that, but they meet those guidelines and that criteria that, again, we don't look at their income on eligibility. It's just their ability or inability, whether they're able or unable to prepare their own meals, to provide their own meals. So with, I think, some of probably the new intakes that we've received, it might be because people are concerned over their SNAP benefit. So they won't be able to purchase and receive that. Part of it, that is a question we're asking right now. Are you calling us because you've lost your SNAP benefit so that we can help cure us? It's going to be long term, it's going to be short term. But yeah, so if we, and we've discussed if we had to go to a wait list, that would be the only time to look at income as the eligibility factor, and not so much in eligibility, but who would be addressed first. So is that a 90-year-old that has no support, or is it somebody younger that has more useful income that could purchase the, meals to ship that?
Is there any way that program can be modified to?
These are federal guidelines
Okay.
for the Older Americans Act. It's Title III funding that we receive, so it's their guidelines. So,
Okay, anything else? Let's move on for Progress Social Services.
I have several updates to point out on. The department has begun using ProShred for confidential document disposal to ensure secure and compliant destruction of sensitive records, and saving our BMG guys a lot of man hours. So, the snowplow RFP was released under buildings and grounds. Because this contract directly affects DSS operations, the department has asked to stay informed during provider selection to avoid a repeat of past service issues. Reliable snow removal is essential for both staff and public safety. The parking and workspace capacity continued to be a serious concern. After the overflow lot was restricted, we lost 10 spots. So that leaves us with 217 spots for 340 employees. And we have to park in undesignated areas. So we're working with county administration to find long-term solutions. The leadership team conducted a walkthrough to identify ways to make better use of our existing space. Options being explored include desk sharing, docking station setups for staff who are frequently in the fields, and we're looking at these changes being considered for early implementation in 2026. We recognize the need for a modernized remote work policy. Without one, every staff member reports on-site daily, which creates crowding and limits flexibility. A balanced hybrid model allowing a mix of office and at-home days would ease space pressures while maintaining productivity. And the commissioner extends an open invitation to members of the Human Services Committee to visit DSS to see firsthand the space limitations, high traffic, and our large scope of operations. So for fiscal finance updates, Michelle Connolly has joined the team as a senior accountant and is currently completing orientation and training with Cheryl Rocks on the CAMS reconciliation process. The department continues to process applications under its emergency assistance programs and frequently reviewing updates on staff and community, or communicating with public through public notices. And Lee says that both she and Gidget are in frequent communication with Phil. EAF is the Emergency Assistance to Families, which is 100% federally funded. EAA, which is Emergency Assistance to Adults, that is 50% state, 50% local. ESNA is the Emergency Safety Net Assistance, which is 29% state, 71% local. And she says overall fiscal operations remain stable, efficient, and on budget. For legal department updates, we have a new attorney joining the legal team at the end of November. He's supposed to start on November 24th, and this should help stabilize court coverage and strengthen the legal capacity, Attorney Melissa Marshall resigned shortly after returning from maternity leave. Recruitment and restructuring efforts are underway to maintain consistent coverage. The labor management meetings. The October meeting was canceled, but clarification was provided regarding the purpose of these sessions. Labor management meetings are intended to support collaborative discussion on matters covered by the collective bargaining agreement, not day-to-day operational issues. The department is creating a more structured format to keep topics focused and productive, and monthly meetings will continue with this framework moving forward. Integrated services and economic supports. SNAP applications rose 11.3% in September, and safety net cases grew 4.7%. These increases are normal for the season and align with the start of heat assistance months. The federal ABAWD, able-bodied adults without dependents waiver, will expire November 3rd, 3 months earlier than expected. About 850 individuals will now be required to participate in work activities to remain eligible. These people will now have to work 20 hours per week. A dedicated team of 5 staff have been assigned to manage orientations, assignments, and tracking to ensure compliance. To reduce the Medicaid backlog, several temporary staff are being hired and cross-trained to assist with both Medicaid and leave workloads during the winter season. These are not new positions, we're just filling vacancies. Positive progress. Ava Technology handled 647 more calls than the month prior, improving client access and response time. And Andrea and Greg Tipping presented to department heads regarding an expansion. And I'm supposed to defer to Phil at this moment to see if he has anything to add. But he's not here, so I don't know, Veronica, if you would have anything to add.
Can I ask you a question on that system? If someone calls and needs to talk to somebody, does it just loop them around, or how do you actually get that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so it allows the opportunity to put through to a representative.
Okay.
Sorry, I know.
Well, no, I'm sorry about it. You got a lot to cover, but I got a question. Who came up with this 20 hours a week criteria that you have to meet?
I'm assuming it would be the federal government, because it's the federal program.
Hours a week to survive. Yeah.
You have to work 20 to be eligible for the benefits, right?
Correct.
So you're still receiving them, you just have to work in addition to receive the benefits. So it's a supplemental, so it's basically trying to get people to work to receive the benefits they receive. So it's a combination program.
No, I get it. I just wondered who came up with that number.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can't help with that.
I mean, New York State, 20 hours, you're not making 20.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Most of your southern states are still under the federal minimum wage law, and it's like $7.80 an hour or something. That's ridiculous.
The Child Support Division Through September 2025, the division averaged collections on 2,597 cases each month out of 5,929 total, which is a 44% collection rate, which is above the state average of 37%. This rate means payments were received on nearly half of all active cases each month, though not all were paid in full. The team continues outreach and enforcement efforts to improve payment consistency. And the coordinator of child support enforcement, John Ferry, will retire on November 28th. And at that time, a principal social services examiner will be appointed early 2026 to maintain leadership continuity. For child, oh, sorry.
Yep, I have a question. Because I asked this last month and did get somewhat of an answer. Say Joe Smots is one of these people who don't pay their child support. I take it we're paying the child support or the support for that child through some agency, I'm sure.
I don't know how that works. I would have to find the answer and get back to you.
Oh, okay, find the answer, please.
Yeah, I'll talk to Lee.
It would depend on what the case type is. So if the person, say the custodial parent of the children is on cash assistance, then that money is owed to DSS because we're supporting them with cash assistance, the children. So then that money would need to be paid to us and it's owed to us if they're not making those payments. If it's a private case, which the majority of child support cases are, they have no involvement with DSS, then we don't make those payments in place of. Probably the largest part of their job in child support, once they've established those court orders, is enforcement. So then they have many enforcement techniques. They can take your state taxes, your federal taxes, seize your bank account, take your home. As long as you're not living in it, have to be a second home. They can take second vehicles, they can take anything but pets and artificial limbs.
All right, well, forget the artificial limbs. Let's go back and say Joe Smots doesn't pay child support. Is there a judgment put on him or her, it can be a her too,
Court has to do that.
for court can or will?
Can and will, we would have to file. You have to file a petition in front of the court asking for the judgment. And then they usually do. And then we can charge interest on.
How can I get that answer through family court or?
You could probably have something go to John Ferry. I'm sure he could probably tell you what the percentage of the cases are.
I mean, you know, this is nuts, this child support stuff. It's
So
nuts.
it's a lot of money.
Oh, it's a lot of money, and I'm not gonna take care of somebody else's kid, why should I? I didn't have it, for Christ's sakes, you know?
And I do have to say, the state has done a great job over the years of finding the people who hit those loopholes, like work under the table, and then they find another way to get the money from them by seizing like their bank accounts, taking their tax refunds, things like that. So, and they can take they can make you ineligible for a hunting license and things like that. It's just a matter of, they started with big enforcement, we're just going to garnish your wages. And then if you don't pay, we'll take you to court. And they've now added a lot of different types of enforcement actions. And they're continuously adding those, suspending driver's licenses, things like that. They're just meant to motivate people to get them to pay. In the end, you can't make somebody pay if they don't want to. It's all a matter of pushing the button that will make them pay. What do they value more?
Well, eventually, it could, I had to deal with renters, but that's neither there. Eventually,
thing.
Joe Smots decides he's gonna straighten his life out because he fell in love with some
Right.
chick that's just, gonna have kids, wants to have a family, wants to have a picket fence and everything. Guess what? He can't do jack, and then she's upset at him because he has got all these judgments against him, and eventually he's gotta pay it off.
Correct.
Or either that, we throw him in jail forever. I mean, because eventually she's gonna break the law.
Well, and not paying child support can put you in jail as well. It's just really a matter of what is it that's going to make somebody pay. It's one of the enforcement procedures.
Child Protective and Family Services. Child Protective Services has made gains in case management efficiency. Since mid-year, open reports have dropped 36.8%, and overdue cases are down 42.7% thanks to stronger supervision and workflow accountability. Family Services is supporting about 1,048 individuals, including 185 children in placement. The division remains focused on permanency planning and stability as Melissa Verleva, Missy, we call her Verleva, prepares to step into the Director of Family Services role in January 2026 when Rachel Hilo retires.
Yes.
What a great birthday present. No.
Yeah, it's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Adult Protective Services continues to operate at full staffing with no vacancies and 42 open cases, including 442 individuals under representative payee services. The department recently began discussions with Liberty Resources and Oswego County Opportunities about creating local crisis respite beds for children awaiting residential placement. This would reduce costly hospital stays and improve stabilization options close to home. Foster parent recruitment and retention efforts continue with the latest class launched September 9th to help expand local placement resources. And last, we have mental hygiene. The local services plan for mental hygiene services has been approved by the Community Services Board and submitted to New York State LMH, OASIS, and OPWDD. The housing rehabilitation intensive case management pilot was ended after the provider was unable to staff the program. Funds are being reallocated to strengthen existing services. The department reviewed 3 proposals for the 5-year renewal of the mental health vocational services contract. A recommendation for award will be presented at the November committee meeting with services starting January 2026. Continued participation in a regional OMH initiative is improving discharge coordination for individuals with mental health, substance use, and developmental disability needs at youth hospitals. Implementation of precision care software for record keeping and reporting is ongoing, with data validation nearing completion, and the mental health services coordination position has been filled. I was going to add anything at all.
We're happy to report that service coordinator position has been vacant for unfortunately patients. Youth access.
All right. So we're finished now. Does anybody have anything else to add? They want to go with it. All right. Looking for the appropriate motion. First and second. Thank you very much.